And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the downtime, but we have returned with our next match here of the night, and there's a lot to get into. We're jumping in mid-series and spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines. We have the French, usually Terran, and he was Terran in game 1, but now he has switched to Protoss to try to bounce back in this series. Representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. Here we go. And again, we missed out on game 1. Of course, we were busy covering Rogue versus Skillus until that came to its conclusion, of course. During that time, Ryung and Clem, they were locked in game 1, and Ryung did take down Clem in that TvT, which is kind of, again, I don't know what to say is what we expect, but Ryung, he has some of the best TvT in the world, and we have seen him defeat Clem time and time again. So for Ryung to defeat Clem in game 1, it's like, bam, you know, Ryung, he's within form. But now Clem, he has decided to throw off the weights, the weighted clothing. It's time to take things seriously. Clearly, what's his best matchup? It's PvT, papi. Let's go. The best Protoss in Europe is here. Let's go. We have an eBay block here on the low ground. Clem does pull the boys. 5 probes here on top of that eBay to try and deny it, try and shut it down. Meanwhile, across the map, Clem just being as annoying as possible. Gets eyes on the, again, a standard opener here. I mean, I say standard. We do have the eBay block, which means should be a factory back at home. Whereas the eBay is denied, and Clem will expand. Clem able to freely expand. Ryung setting up the CC on the high ground instead. There we go. Command center's on the way. We'll be safe and sound. Now we can settle into our game. Again, for those that are curious, Clem, similar to Raynor, actually, when Raynor off-races as Protoss, Clem off-races as Protoss as well, to avoid certain matchups. Typically, Raynor is one to play Protoss against Zerg players to avoid ZVZ. Likewise, Clem picks Protoss to avoid TBT. Also, I want to make sure that there's no kind of misconstruing of this. It isn't like either Raynor or Clem don't take things seriously. Legitimately, I mean, I think Clem's PvT is better than his TvT. Like, like, he wouldn't be playing it if he didn't have faith in it himself. Likewise, for those who don't know, Clem has the best, is the highest rated Protoss on the European ladder, even more so than Max. Fun fact, which is crazy. So the best Protoss in the EU. Let's go. Clem is here. Clem will zone Ryung out of his main. Likewise, back at home, we do have our 1-1-1 follow-up. Also, when Ryung found out that Clem was switching from Terran to Protoss in game 2, Ryung was very sad. He was like, I know. He did have the crying face emoji when he saw that. I don't blame him. Don't blame him. Again, like Ryung, like his best match, he can take down any other Terran player in the world. That's where he thrives. That's who he be. For now, setting up for a Widowmine drop. There's first Widowmine, second Widowmine's on the way, into a medevac, into a drop across the map. We are going to be forced back. Back now we have our tech of choice. Going to be a Twilight Council here out of Clem. Twilight Council into, I would imagine, Blink. Not DT. But I'm curious. Fun fact for those as well who are unaware, just because Clem has been playing a lot of Protoss, and when I say he's the best Protoss on the EU ladder, I mean, again, he's taken it to most, if not all, European pros. Skills was even admitting when he qualified for Master Coliseum that he actually took a build from Clem for PvZ. He did end up taking one of those builds, which did actually work very well. Did allow Skillus to actually take down Solar in that qualifier and make it into Master Coliseum. So Skillus, after qualifying, did give a shout out to Clem. Clem showing Skillus the way of the Protoss. Love to see it. No. Really, we're all just waiting for Clem to off-race a Zerg, right? And then be the best in each race. We're waiting for that moment. He's almost there. Waiting for him to master all 3 elements. As Ryung, he does get across the map. Comes in with a mine drop. Oh! Mine's going to be going up. Gets a probe. Gets 1. Gets 2 even. And a Widowmine into the main, but once again, Clem, he does react in time. Oh my god, late to react! Late to pull away, 7 probes go down. He really is a Protoss. 7 workers do fall. And Ryung, he escapes with a medevac, escapes with the Widowmine as well. Does get away. Not like this. With that, it's nice economic damage. Meanwhile, Clem is moving out. Again, he has Blink. How many gateways? He's got 1 in the main. He's got 2 here at the natural, so 3 gate Blink. Warping in 3 stalkers at a time. And we'll see if he can break through. We'll see if he can break the defenses of Ryung. And more stalkers on the way. Back at home, we have 2 bunkers on low ground. We have 1 tank on the natural, 1 tank in the main. Nice Sim City. Ooh, Ryung is supply blocked. Now's not the time. And the tank is exposed. Ooh, Ryung out of position. Tank goes down. Ryung barely not ready for it. And with that, Clemmy busts into the main and going for Stim. Will deny it. Stim goes down as well. God, almost gets the Raven. It's forced out of the main, but damage is being done. The stalkers are so low, but they still survive. The trades are insane. Mine drop back into the main, gets 1 probe. Looking at the new soul slap here. Clemmy's lost 1 stalker. Jesus. Step aside, Max Pax. Oh my god. I think Clem, he probably got enamored by Max Pax's 4 gates Blink. Obviously, this isn't 4 gate Blink, but just the amount of value you can get with it. I was like, you know what if I did that? That just looks fun. Maybe just kill everything. Speaking of, that's going to be 7 SCV kills here at the natural. And again, the Clem has only lost 1 stalker. Insane value. May have lost workers against the Widowmine drop, but he's recovering, and he's done enough reciprocating damage. As he's containing Ryung. He's going to be containing him. Likewise, Ryung trying to set up, spreading out his tanks. Clem busting in towards that natural. Towards the main. Doesn't quite get more damage though. Ryung getting a 3rd CC. He's not going for a 2-base all-in. He will eventually break out, but again, his breakout has been delayed because of the denied Stim. Typically, when Stim is done, then the Terran can move out, but that is not the case here. I mean, it is, but Stim is delayed. Was denied earlier. Back at home, Clem just getting fully saturated on 3 bases, taking his gases, taking up, going for a gateway explosion, going into mass swarm toss, stalkers, charge lots. Charge is done. Even a couple of immortals help support. So far looking comfortable. We're just still waiting for that moment when Ryung moves out. He's still waiting for his upgrades though. Waiting for Stim. Now he picks up. Does pick up. Moving out across the map. Likewise, Clem try to catch him. Moves out as well. And we'll see if Clem can deny those drops. We can see here that Ryung is actually unloaded. He actually unloaded here at the natural. Didn't move out, so Clem was duped. So looking for a drop that doesn't exist. Ryung's army gets spotted by the observer. Clem sees all. Still looking for the medevac. Still trying to hunt it down. And now Ryung has finally expanded. Likewise, Clem taking his 4th. A Bay's on the way. Looks like the splash damage of choice not going to be Storm. It's going to be Colossus. Auto Charge here towards the natural. We'll delay some mining. We'll get the anti-armor missile off. At the same time, Zel's get dropped in towards the natural. Zel drop into the main. Ooh, SCVs are going to be falling, and Ryung is committing. Oh. This is getting a bit out of hand. 6 up to 7 SCV kills. Ryung pushing in. There is no splash damage. Zelta coming from behind. Yeah, the tanks are on siege. 1, 2, so to be 3 tanks going down. Massive collapse. And Clem, he will shut this down. Will force a pickup. Takes out the Raven. Nice snipe. Raven goes down as well. Ryung is still reinforcing. Still pushing in. Widowmine coming in from behind. Patience here out of Ryung. Meanwhile, we're running out of gateway units. Clem overextending. Okay, should not have been out here. He has to pull back. Has a force field. We'll buy some time. And where's the Colossus? Colossus is still on the way. Clem desperately trying to hold on. Ryung, he lost all of his tanks, but he still has a decent bio army. Rotating around, pushing in, at the same time War Prism towards the natural. Clem's getting ready for a counterattack. Just going off. Ryung pushing in. Nice spread. The force fields do buy time. That is a massive minefield, though. As Ryung, he's so close to breaking his opponent. He's trying to break Clem here and now. Zell stuck behind. First Colossus has arrived. How good are the mine shots going to be? Once again, the force fields are brutal. Stalkers are going down. That Colossus looking very exposed. But reinforcements, they come in just in time. Ryung trying to drag the army into the minefield. Nice spread though by Clem. And Clem, does he barely have enough? It looks like he does. Yeah, takes down the bio, takes down the Marines and Marauders. He holds, he saves the 4th base. And Ryung was committed. Behind this, just now beginning his 4th CC. The Observer does confirm. War Prism now poised to go into the natural. And Ryung, he has to back off. Races back home. Viking production has begun, making a handful of ghosts. Clem still being active. Are you saying Clem is the avatar? Yes, yes. He has to master all three races. And then he becomes Aang. He shaves his head. Oh no. Not like this. And when the world needed him most, he vanished. He left us. See, that would fit if Clem was a Korean. Because that could be like Clem going to the military service, you know? Like it'd be more fitting. So far, Ryung trying to hold his own. Behind this, we have Disruptor production on the way. Double Robo, Colossus, and Disruptors. Second Forge for those upgrades. Clem is building up. Clem, likewise, the first to max out. He's there. He's moving out with 3 Colossi. SCMP. EMP connects. Zell stay distracted on the right hand side. Clem pushing in towards the left. Ryung not quite ready for this. Gets another EMP up. DT's waddling in. Colossus under fire. Barely does not go down. Ryung has to pull back. And does he notice the Dark Templar? Oh, I don't think he does. Okay, SCVs start going down. And Clem is just distracting. While the DTs, they do the work. Oh my god. Getting 15 SCVs. Yeah, DT in the natural. DT was at the 3rd. So far wreaking havoc. Crippling the economy. Clem still maxed. Zell's coming in to reinforce. And here comes the main army, the Ghosts. The Ghosts are exposed. Colossus diving in. Nova goes up. Do you see Ryung coming from behind? Pulls up boys. Does he have enough? Gets 1 Colossus. Getting up to 2. But doesn't have enough. Ryung, he backs off. Meanwhile, 40 SCVs have gone down. Ay, ay, ay. SCVs in the main base. SCVs in the natural. Ryung just getting pulled apart. Not like this. And again, Ryung, he can handle Clem's Terran, but his Protoss, is built different, Pappy. Not like this. The best Protoss in Europa. Forced back here by the Harass, by the Zealots. 42 SCVs going down. And Clem, he's striking the 3rd base once again. GG gets caught, just pulling Ryung apart, and Clem ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. GG, well played. We are going all the way to game 3. And we'll see how Ryung can bounce back in this game. As a reminder, loser's pick. As a reminder, it is loser's pick here. It's up to Ryung. How he does recover. The question becomes, though, I mean, I think we know the answer to it. I was going to say, like, Ryung, depending on the map that he picks, like, does he know what race he's up against? You know, is Clem going to pick Terran or Protoss? But I feel like the answer has to be Protoss. At this point, I feel like we know. Ay, ay, ay. Here we go. Clem, how are you in the top this season? I mean, he's literally the best player in the world, man. It's crazy. As it looks like we have our next game. We're going to be loading into Abyssal Reef. Let's go. Is going to be the ace match. There we go, we have our map. And Abyssal makes sense. Abyssal is a much larger map in the map pool. It's a good map to slow the game down as well. Assuming that Ryung did want to embrace a longer game state here against Clem and something more stable, where he had a solid economy. The map is quite large, bases are spread out, and we have confirmation Clem is indeed playing Protoss. Again, it makes sense. Here we go. So we are getting into the ace match here. Getting into game 3. Again, some of the big features of Abyssal Reef, not just how large the map is, but how defendable your 3, 4, 5 bases are, your 5-base setup. So I'm curious if that's the direction that Ryung wants to take this in. I mean, we're here to find out. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Abyssal Reef, we have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Team Liquid, playing his main race. Let's go. It is Clem. Here we go. So from here we can settle in. And we will see where Clem takes us. Again, last game we saw Clem flex his Blinkstalker aggression and Blinkstalker control with his 3-gate Blink opener. We'll see if he does the same, and it's just a very safe way to open up. On a larger map like Abyssal Reef, I would not be opposed to a Stargate opener, but I'm not too familiar with Clem's playstyle, to be honest. I'm not too familiar with what he does prefer when playing Protoss against Terran. Whether he does vary it up and open up Stargates or not. Usually when some of our players do off-race, and even if they are specialized in a certain matchup, they're usually relatively limited in what they do bring to the table in that matchup, in their builds. As typically the case, but we'll see. Shall see. Clem is going to be setting up. Likewise, Ryung going for a double gas opener this time. Okay, double gas to a faster factory. Delayed CC out of Ryung. Now, this can lead into... I want to bring up specifically Banshee into a tank push. Tank push with Banshees. Just because this is a build that was popularized and utilized quite often by players like Ryung and Maru throughout the course of early 2024 and even late 2023. So I feel like that might be the direction we're headed in. Other openers this can lead into, of course, is more dedicated Widowmine drops. And hey, the Widowmine drop was not too bad at all in that last game. Did achieve quite a bit of damage. So there's potential for that mine drop. Otherwise, this can lead into early tank drop, Banshees, Ravens. Keep an eye on Ryung. Ooh, as he is getting into Hellion production. Reactor on the racks, CC on the high ground. CC's on the way. First Reaper gets across the map, gets some scanning information. Getting a read on Clem. And okay, it's going to be the one Hellion here to help scout. There's a tech lab into Starport, into add-on swap. Curious. Or we might even just leave the tech lab on the racks and go for the tech lab manually here on the Starport to get into tank and Banshee production. That's what I'm leaning towards, but we'll see. You keep an eye on Ryung. back at home. I didn't mention it. I was curious whether it was going to be a Stargate or a Twilight Council. It is going to be Stargate play here by Clem. Do love to see it. So clearly showing us that no, he is not a one-trick pony. He is willing to vary it up here in this matchup, opening up Blink in one game and Phoenixes in the other. Now, Phoenix openers, they of course had their time in the meta that since kind of fell off. They're a little bit less prevalent nowadays, but a big reason for that is because in some of these smaller maps, it can be quite difficult to get away with Phoenix openers because you are vulnerable to early game aggression. On a large map like Abyssal Reef, that is not the case. So this opener does make plenty of sense here. This is why we brought it up earlier as we loaded into Abyssal Reef. Meanwhile, Ryung does not go for the tech lab, does go for early tanks into a medevac. It's going to be a tank drop. Let's go. It's going to be an early tank drop here from Ryung. It's going to be very aggressive. He's going to be moving out. The goal of this move out is to try to break the Protoss with these tanks. The tanks are going to be the backbone of the army, and we'll see what he can get done. Now, the scary thing, though, I'll be honest, is with these Phoenixes, they can lift and shut down the tank. Likewise, they can chase down the medevac as well. So Ryung has to be very careful with how he does position. I'll be honest, as long as Clem is back at home, I think he can shut this down, but we'll see. Medevac oh no! The medevac comes in, gets spotted, and the medevac is going to be chased down. A brutal pick up here already. Medevac does fall. And Ryung, he's going to get out of here. He's going to get the hell out of here. He's got 4 Marines in the tank. The tank is so exposed. Thankfully, Clem doesn't move out with his ground army. And Clem is safe and sound. He's fine. He's perfectly fine. He shuts down the opener of Ryung. Not like this. And now Clem, he can just settle in. He can just calm things down, take his third, saturate his bases. This Clem makes his way towards the natural. Threatens the tanks. Wait for the Reaper. Respects the army. Does back off on the Cyclone. With enough Phoenixes, though, we can dive on the Cyclone. There's not actually that much bio support. It's mainly in the main. Mainly in the main base. Clem rotating over. Does rotate over. Ryung setting up, moving out, gets spotted. Hellion goes down. Ryung trying to be active with this army, trying to get across the map, but alas he cannot. He's being contained. He's being contained by the Phoenixes, and again, because it takes so long to get across the map on Abyssal Reef, Clem is safe. He's safe and sound, safely getting into his own expansion, his own third. Colossus production has begun. Ooh, Phoenixes, they get caught out. Massive pickup. 1 Phoenix falls. Ooh, second Phoenix rallies into the army. I'm in a bit of trouble here. He has to respond, scans ahead of time. Ryung, he spots the army. He knows. He is aware. Ryung is going to be moving out across the map. First Colossus has arrived. Clem trying to rotate. He can't come in from behind and even catch reinforcements. He will. Speaking of Vikings, speaking of Marines. Meanwhile, the Vikings, they go for the dive. They want the Colossus. Oh, he wants it. Not much anti-air. Vikings getting caught out. Ryung slow pushing towards the natural. Pylon is exposed. But Ryung, he backs off. Again, he doesn't like that he can't reinforce the army. He respects the Phoenixes. And Ryung retreats. And Clem holds. Clem, he does hold on. Getting another tank. Tank goes down, gets a Phoenix at least. But the army races back home, and Clem, once again, he has breathing room. He can saturate his third. He can start working towards a 4th expansion now that he does confirm the 3rd. And we'll see how he does diversify this army. Does he head towards Storm or more Disruptors? We have the answer. Templar Archives. Storm. Templar Archives on the way. This should lead into Storm production. We have our forges, upgrades. Charge on the way. There's a 4th expansion for Clem. And again, so far, it's still looking quite comfortable back at home. Now, what I will say is that thankfully, Ryung didn't actually lose any of his tanks. He was able to preserve them. As you can see here, one tank did go down previously, but the majority of the army did survive. He backed off, he preserves it, which means he can build up towards a later push and a later timing. So Ryung, he still has quite a threatening force. Behind this, embracing his bioproduction, of course. Is building up, eventually into ghosts. But it is going to be difficult moving out when your opponent has the map control with all these Phoenixes. It's going to be quite difficult here. As Ryung, he knocks down those rooks. He's got how many Vikings? 9! He's got 9 Vikings. Looking to break out. Clem is establishing his 4th. Scan reveals a 4th base. Ryung knows. Ryung is aware. Clem moving forward. So there's 3 Colossi. Because of the heavy Viking count, these Colossi, a lot of it is going to come down to positional play. Whether Clement can actually preserve those Colossus or not, we'll see. We shall see. Phoenixes, they do hit the 3rd. Wreaking havoc. 7 SCVs go down. Very nice damage. As Ryung moved out, he was exposed. No turrets in position either. I mean, there were turrets here in the natural, but not quite in the main or the 3rd. Despite the mass Phoenixes, Ryung, he's not quite ready for them. At least if his army's not in position. Oh! Does almost catch them. Almost. Clem ready for his own drop in towards the natural. Ryung building up. Both armies are soon to max. Clem once again now going into disruptors. Did not take into Storm. I assumed he would, but no, he's going for disruptors. Dark Shrine's almost done. I mean, we saw how effective those DTs were. Oh, the rally! Oh, Clem does rally in. 1, 2 Archons go down. Massive pickups. Yeah, that was not intentional. Phoenixes, they get left behind as well. At the same time, Clem does dive into the main. But the reinforcements back at home. Ryung, he's holding, he's defending. And the main armies clash. Nova connects with a tank. Colossus going down, and Clem is in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. He lost far too much, far too quickly. He threw away all his Phoenixes. He threw away the 2 Archons. Clem even lost a Colossus. And now he's down in supply. Clem, he needs time. He needs time, and he needs some of these Novas to connect. Tank shots going off. Ryung pulling away. War Prism still in between the bases. Ryung, he responds. Will bring it down. Nicely done. Shuts down the Prism. Now he can focus on the push. More disruptors building up. So far 3, soon to be 4 disruptors. Blink on the way for the DTs. Clan being active once again. The armies are missing each other. Clem pushes right through the center. Ryung, not quite in position. Zelta goes straight for the mineral line, or straight for the natural. Ryung trying to respond. Behind the army, does spot it. Now he knows. Shows it over. Never goes up. Good connection. Takes down Marines. Meanwhile, Vikings, they shut down the Colossus. Not enough anti-air. All 3 Colossus go down. Nice splits. And nice spread there. Oh, the Novas. Oh my god. Catches a ghost. Once again on the Marauders, massive connections. Meanwhile, at the same time, Zealot's wreaking havoc, catching reinforcements, no major economic damage. But Marines are getting caught out, and now finally SCV kills as well. Oh! Oh my god. Another Viking falls. Tanks are exposed, tanks are gonna all go down. Yeah, that's 3 tanks going down almost for free. Ryung caught out of position. Clem pushing in. And he's going for the kill. We cannot push up this ramp though. That's a lot of bio. That's a lot of army, a lot of supply. 16 SCV kills. Another tank falls. Tank out was reset. And rotating around. He has no disruptors with this. No splash damage, just purely a gateway army. There we go. 2 disruptors now arriving. Decent EMP. Raises those zealots. Nova goes off. Ooh, massive connection. The Novas are insane. popping up. Clem rotating over towards the center base. Ryung trying to stabilize. Almost maxed out. Planetary is exposed. Nova goes off once again into the mineral line. We can see Ryung collapsing in. Takes another Nova to the face. The Novas have been brutal. Despite that, Clem, he has to back off. He's out of Novas. And the disruptors are exposed. He gets one disruptor. More disruptors coming in. Shows a Nova. Up. Not quite. Not yet. Gets another disruptor and another. Clem in trouble. Oh my god. Nova goes off once again. Brutal connections. Ryung, he falls in supply. Again, chasing the army and running into purification Novas is brutal. It's so difficult to pull off. Such a difficult army to chase. There's still 2 Novas available. Still 2 Novas left. Clem backing up. Building up his army, making 3 disruptors at a time. That's a lot of balls, Fatty. That's a lot of disruptors. Ryung going for a second starport. Ooh, has yet to be built. Goes down. Gets the EMP up. Nice spread. But there's still so many Novas left over. And again, with all these purification Novas, what can Ryung do? Especially without any air control, without any libs. That's typically what swings the battle in the favor of the Terran, is with Liberators, but he has no freedom. He has no second starport. Ryung trying to engage. Novas once again. Oh, they connect. They catch a ghost. Ghosts are going down. Ryung splitting as best he can, but not good enough. And Clem is maxed. He's maxed out. Ryung down in 50 supply. Still trying to build up, but can't keep up. Now, a lot of supply is tied up in these disruptors, true. So there is a world where if Clem, if he gets outpositioned, if Ryung is able to surround or collapse on the army from multiple angles, then he could try to get on top of those disruptors. There is a chance. Like, disruptors can be quite vulnerable. You know, you can see Ryung going for a split push. Likewise, so is Clem. Ryung moving in. Oh, hatched a disruptor, not bad. The Novas! Oh my god, Novas don't quite connect. Ryung pulling away. He was able to get 1 disruptor, but just the one. Gets the hell out of there. At the same time, Ryung, he deflects across the map. He's recovering. He's building back up. He's still going to max out. Again, this starport was denied earlier when the Zealots had pushed into the main. Is impacting his production. Fusion core's on the way. CMP. Fusion core does signify Liberator range and Liberator production. Ryung is headed in that direction, but he's still a ways off. Still does need more time. As both armies are maxed. Clem now getting a 7th expansion. Pushing it up. Spreads out the Novas. Decent connections. Ryung, he does deny the 7th base. I believe that was a cancel, not a kill. Your DTs are now waddling, and remember, they have Blink. Diving into the mineral lines once again. SV's going to be falling. This does force Ryung all the way back home. He has to respond. No major damage, but annoying nonetheless. This is giving Clem some room to push in. Does head towards the center base. Ryung, he's held his ground. Up! Oh my god, that's a brutal shot. Catches a ghost. Takes down 3 Marauders and a good chunk of Marines. And Ryung, he's in trouble. DT popping off. No detection. Ryung gives up on the expansion. Cannot mine. That's 17 SVs falling at the same time. Ryung going for a counterattack. At least tries to. But now there are Colossus once again. Novas, they pop off. Massive connections. The balls, they're too much, Pappy. They're far too much. Ryung comes in from behind, takes down the Colossus at least. Does take down the Colossus. Disruptors, they get the hell out of here. Clem running out of buffer. Has to retreat. Ryung with a surround. Up. Can he get the Disruptors? He can. The Novus, oh my god, the Novus, the Novus keep connecting. GG gets called, and Clem will take the series 2-1. We'll take down Ryung and knock him out of the tournament. GG. GG, well played. Clem, he will claim the series here again. Did play Terran in game 1, lost game 1, and then embraced Protoss. He knew what he needed to do, Pappy. He saw the light. Was Protoss. GG, well played. Clem does take my condolences to Ryung, but a valiant effort nonetheless. Even here in this final game as well, Ryung definitely had his moments, definitely did, but alas was overwhelmed. Again, pushing into all those Purification Novas was a brutal thing to try to pull off. We saw so many Novas connecting. Ryung wasn't able to chase. Likewise, Ryung was never able to switch into Liberator production either. He was stuck with his ground-based army. We saw eventually towards the end, he was transitioning towards a Fusion Core and towards Libs, but it was too little too late at that point. And in the end, he was overwhelmed. GG. GG, well played. With that, Clem will advance on into the next round, and the question becomes, where are we headed next? Where are we going? Let's find out. Let us find out. Let's head on over to the Korean server and figure out where we are, because a lot of matches have concluded, and we've got a lot to catch up on. First things first, though, I do want to try to catch our players. I don't want to be left behind, if at all possible. Exclamation mark B in the chats, or of course you can have a look at the bracket yourselves.